I will put my coffee down. That's fine, that's fine. Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to another video. Today we've got Rosie back with us and she's going to be talking to us about her experience in care. So we've just got a couple questions to try and understand what that's like a bit more. Cool. Why don't you start us off by telling us how you got into care in the first place?
So I ended up in care because I had a very dysfunctional family, and it was probably one of the scariest days of my life because it was like I literally just been with my family and then I went off to have a meeting with a social worker, and that was like the last time I saw my family, and I ended up being taken to what they call semi-independent living. It's basically a place where young adults from aged 16 to 18 plus live and just develop independent living skills, but with support of staff members in this house. But yeah, it wasn't a nice kind of going from being at home for like 1 minute and then suddenly being in a new place and sort of having to trust people. You sort of just get thrown into this whole new environment, and there are people there that you don't know, staff members that you don't know, then suddenly you have to kind of figure life out from there onwards, and you sort of never know what's happening next, and never know what's going to happen next.
So secondly, the only real things I actually know about care are from what I've learned watching Tracy Beaker. And I imagine that might be a similar experience for a lot of you guys as well. So is it like Tracy Beaker?
It's not like Tracy Beaker. I feel like a lot of people, even people that I lived with in care, whenever they came themselves, are like, I thought this was going to be like Tracy Beaker.
Really? They said that? Oh.
It does have its ups and downs. Like, there are weeks where things are just crazy and you sort of walk in, you're like, I don't know what I'm walking into, like there's a fight going on, or like something else crazy, like something else is going on. But there are times where it is really good. For example, like being able to just bond with people your own age, and sort of you're all sort of in similar situations, you've been put into this place, you don't know what's going on next, but having people around you that sort of get you and know, like, get it. So I was in an all-female home, and all staff members were female, and they were absolutely brilliant at just providing support whenever we needed it, showing us how to clean and cook, and telling us off when we did things that we shouldn't be doing. I just want to say this as well, that not, like, a lot of kids in care will get labelled as being, like, they already get labelled as being, like, bad, or, like, they're going to be disruptive, or whatever. But actually that's not the case. Not all care kids are like that. And if they are like that, it's not their fault that they're like that. Like, it's because of what has gone on in their backgrounds and stuff that is triggering them to burst out. And I think it's really sad that care kids get labelled as being something that they're not.
So you went into care when you were about 17 years old, and at that kind of time for you personally, you were exploring your faith, Christianity. How do you feel like God fit into your world in care?
So he didn't really at the start. I basically gave up. But as time went on, because all the support workers that worked there were Christians, which was really helpful. But as time went on, like, I started having conversations with them, and I started to let God back in, and it was this weird. It was like a weird concept to me that I'd been taken away from my biological family, and I've been put here essentially into a new family, and God was just there through it all. But I started to really see God as this father. Like, he became this father to me that I didn't like, that I never had. And I just wanted to get to know more of him, and started having more chats with support staff, and even started going along to one of their churches and getting involved with like one of their small groups and started exploring that more. So yeah.
I'm absolutely starting to cry. As soon as you were like, I got to with my biological family, I was just like. So lastly, what has it been like for you moving on from care?
So moving on from care, it was very scary because I sort of left. I'd only really been in care for a year. I left when I was 19 and moved to Norwich, and that was the only thing that I really knew. And it was scary to sort of walk away from something that felt so safe and to move to somewhere where I didn't know anyone and it was scary and like it was really difficult. And I remember when I moved here, I remember my support workers like driving me to where I had to go to training, and it was probably the saddest moment because they sort of dropped me off, got all my stuff in, and then they cried, I cried, we basically cried for a good half an hour, and we finally had to just say goodbye and just let go. And it was really hard. And I remember they went off and they basically sat in the car and just cried before they left. And I sat in this training centre just crying until I finally felt safe and like until I was like, okay, it's okay, like I'm gonna be fine. And for the first week I was here, I basically like kept in contact, was messaging them, like they became like family to me. And even now I've like left, they will always be part of my life. And I think I'm glad that I was in care and I got to be there and have that time and then move on and do great, like really cool things here. I'm now here and I've like formed another family with the people around me, and now they're my family. Oh, please don't cry. It's gonna be okay. Even though my relationship with God was really difficult at the time, and I didn't really see Him working. I finally like started to see Him when I started opening myself up to Him and sort of letting Him into the pain and letting Him work in that. And I finally let Him in again when I was 18. So that was literally before I moved here. I let God back in, and it's been amazing.
That's really interesting you said that, because you use the phrase let God into the pain, but a lot of people who are going through suffering and having a really rubbish time, they're often encouraged just to give God the pain. But I think that's really different saying let Him into it, because when you're encouraged to give God the pain, it's as if like they're totally two separate things. But God is so invested in our life and He's always there in our joy and our experiences. And it's the same with pain.
Yeah.
Like God is so personal with us that if you guys have any pain at the moment, which I'm sure you do, like we all do, then let God into it. You know, don't see them as two separate things. God He knows exactly how much pain you feel, like He gets it, He empathises, and He loves you through it, and He wants to be able to deal with that with you. So that was really cool. Love that. You're like, I didn't mean to say it like that. Turned out well. That was so dramatic. Cool. So I hope you guys have liked this video. Thank you, Rosie, so much for sharing with us. And we will see you in another video.